Today I'm heading off on my very first international cruise since before the pandemic, and I'm super excited that it's longer than 3 or 4 days. So I'm heading off on the Ovation of the Seas for 7 nights, and it's actually a SuperCruise, which is a chartered boat through the company called SuperCruise. There is a rock concert and a country music festival on board this cruise. So this is going to be something very unique and different, and I'm super excited that it is a new experience for me and an international cruise that is longer than 3 or 4 days. So come along. We have a 12 o'clock check-in, so we were able to pretty much just walk straight into the terminal, even though there was a whole lot of people out the front. And not much signage, I have to be honest, but we're inside now.
Part of the online check-in process is choosing a check-in window. So if you have an earlier time slot, ignore the chaos outside the terminal and make yourself known to staff to be guided to your check-in line.
Check-in process was a breeze. Time to get on.
I just love walking onto a new-to-me ship, knowing I'm about to have an entirely new experience. Our stateroom wouldn't be ready until 1 PM, so with an hour to kill, we thought it was the perfect time to grab a little lunch from the Windjammer. There was a large variety of food. I decided to split the difference between naughty and good. Soon enough, it was time to check out our balcony stateroom located on deck 13. Royal Caribbean still uses SeaPass cards, and these were located at our door. Though this was a standard balcony cabin, I was immediately impressed with the size and spacious layout. You'll see it in greater detail in my room tour. SuperCruise have been arranging chartered music cruises for over a decade, and for many people on board, they had been waiting for this voyage since before the pandemic. Normally held on smaller ships such as Radiance of the Seas, the company chose to combine its rock the boat and cruising country music charters into one festival at sea on board the significantly larger Ovation of the Seas. Wristbands had to be worn for the duration of the cruise and were used by staff to determine your main show time, and in turn your main dining time.
I've finished filming a room tour, which didn't take that long because it's not the biggest room, but I have to say, incredible room, really great for a balcony. Now it's time to go and check out one of the most advanced bartenders, technologically advanced bartenders on the planet. Let's go.
Despite its large size, Ovation of the Seas is quite easy to navigate. With 2 lift banks and main stairwells, one located forward and one aft, it was fairly straightforward to know where you were on board. We made our way to the Bionic Bar, where you'll find the world's first robotic bartenders. With a decidedly space-age design and colourful atmosphere, there's no doubting you're in for something special and unique. The robots can make up to 2 drinks per minute with almost endless cocktail combinations. Orders are placed using the tablets, and help is on hand if you need it. Simply tap your SeaPass card and enter your date of birth to review the entire menu. Overwhelmed by the choices, I opted for a classic vodka martini with a twist. Watching the robots is almost hypnotic, and I especially enjoyed watching the stir action. Sorry, James Bond. If I have one criticism, it's that I would much prefer to drink my martini out of glass, but I still enjoyed the experience. By now, I was desperate to head to the upper decks to check out the main pool and soak in the ambience of a bright, sunny day on board a ship. The playful panda duo hanging off the edge of the immersive playground that is the SeaPlex leaves no doubt as to the fun to be found inside, including dodgeball, roller skating, basketball, and lots more. Today, the famous Dodgem cars were operating. I mean Dodgem cars on a cruise ship. Of course, we had to have a go. Far from the laws that govern driving on land, I was able to drive single-handedly and record some of the highlights of the hilarious fun. After laughing harder than I can remember in recent times, I continued with the exploration, heading all the way forward to the spectacular adults-only Solarium.
Ovation of the Seas has just started to pull away from Sydney's Circular Quay. We're about to head off on our 7-night cruise.
The weather continued to provide us with an amazing backdrop as Ovation of the Seas departed Sydney's overseas passenger terminal. The suitcases had arrived and it was time to unpack. Well, with a little balcony time thrown in. Unlike many other Royal Caribbean ships with multi-level restaurants, Ovation of the Seas is served by 4 main dining rooms, each with a distinct design. Tonight's dinner was in American icon. The service was impeccable. The Waldorf salad made for a light start, whilst the lamb chop was full of flavour. Key lime pie was a sweet finish to a delicious meal.
So it's about 10 to 6 and I'm heading down to the Royal Promenade to film because I assume that on a SuperCruise most people were up very late last night and they won't be around this morning. I, on the other hand, had an early night because I was exhausted. So now we walk all the way down from 13 to 5 and we'll go from there.
I enjoyed exploring the elegant Royal Promenade, the main hub of this enormous ship.
Just one of the really great things about Ovation of the Seas is that there are so many complimentary or included dining venues that are open throughout the course of the day. So this morning we actually came to Cafe 270, which is located aft at the back of the ship and is attached to 270, the lounge space. So they have more of a continental style breakfast offering, including cereals, but they do have some hot options as well, like bacon and egg croissants, and they also have a bagel station with various toppings, so that is really good. If you like a bagel, it's a great place to be. And they have a barista and coffee shop there too. So really great little place that you can have a quick, easy breakfast, especially if you're early and you don't feel like having a full sit-down breakfast, either in the main restaurant or in the Windjammer.
The day prior and during, let's say, a very festive sail-away party, we had made plans to meet some friends for line dancing. Not sure what was in that plastic cupped martini, but anyway. Although I'm good at some things, hand, foot, eye coordination is not one of them.
Toe, heel, stop, heel, toe, heel. If I come halfway. Yes, Chris?
Yes, Chris.
Are you ready?
No.
Alright, let's dance.
Look, I gave it a shot and then decided it was much easier to do what I do well, and I switched to filming instead of dancing.
It's already been such a busy morning on board Ovation of the Seas, and between exploring the entire ship for filming and going to breakfast at 270, line dancing, and then it was off to an agent's meet and mingle. So now it's time for a bit of an R&R, and I'm going back to the Solarium because yesterday when I went through there, I thought it was one of the nicest places that I found on board for what looks like will hopefully be a chilled afternoon, at least a couple of hours. So I'm off there now.
A chilled afternoon it was.
I had such a relaxing day on board today. Most of the afternoon was spent in the Solarium. This evening I have the early sitting for tonight's performance and I'm really looking forward to that. I didn't go last night because we sailed away from Sydney at that time, so that was a no-go. But tonight we'll be heading off to see what that's all about, and after that we have dinner at Chops, which is one of my favorite specialty restaurants, and I'm sure it's many of yours if you've been on Royal Caribbean ships. So we're going there tonight as well. So great night ahead. Still daylight outside thanks to daylight savings. Gonna go and have fun.
One of the things I loved most about the SuperCruise was that you could attend any of the music events throughout the day and night, whether country or rock, when they were held outside of the main showtime. Most artists performed at various locations throughout the cruise, so it was easy to catch anyone you wanted to see. As a central hub or thoroughfare, the Royal Promenade made it very easy to orient yourself and then find your way around the ship. It was also the perfect people-watching place if that's your thing. Tonight's main Showtime performance was by Ross Wilson, the man famous for, among other songs and bands, The Eagle Rock by Daddy Cool. After the show, we went to one of my favourite specialty dining venues, Chops Grille.
Tonight's dinner is at Chops Grille, and this is one of the specialty dining venues on board Ovation of the Seas. It's a Royal Caribbean specialty, and it has been in the fleet for years and years. It is such a solid offering, one of the best specialty restaurants you can go to. If you love your meat, of course, you'll love it here, but there are other things on offer too, including seafood and salads that are just really good. Excellent, excellent food. It's a lovely setting here on board as well, so we're really enjoying the night. And as far as the cost goes, it does depend on your particular cruise. You can pre-book it in your cruise planner, so that's always something that you can do before you actually cruise. There is, however, more value to be had if you purchase a dining package. You can either purchase multiple restaurants, 1, 2, 3, 4. So have a look. It can vary from sailing to sailing, but you'll often find better value if you do that. And buy a package, because there are other specialty restaurants on board as well. But it's such a great dining venue. Not that the food on board that's complimentary is bad, but here you'll leave very full, and you'll have to be rolled back to your cabin, but it's worth it.
After an incredible and filling meal, we went for a walk around the decks before calling it a night.
I can confirm that a food coma is real.
Food coma behind us, we went up to the jogging track for a brisk morning walk to at least attempt to deal with last night's overeating. We stopped to watch as the North Star capsule went on its extended journey over the side of the ship. On Australian sailings, the North Star is complimentary on port days, but costs US $19 on sea days, although for the money you do enjoy the extended version over the side of the ship. We spent today enjoying the pool deck and live music, plus we took a dip in the main indoor pool. Though not brave enough to try it ourselves, we enjoyed being spectators to the ship's flowrider. Being a charter, there were 3 theme nights on board this cruise. Tonight's was When I Grow Up. The intention was to dress as your desired occupation from childhood. After showtime, we went to the main dining room for dinner, this time in silk. The menus are really quite substantial, with multiple offerings making it easy to find something you'll like. Pork bao buns to start were the highlight, followed by chicken cordon bleu. Tiramisu finished off a tasty meal. We visited the pub after dinner and then made our way to 270 for a bit of a boogie. After a very late night, I was woken the next morning by the sound of the pilot boat.
So today was meant to be Mystery Island as our first port stop on this 1-week cruise, but because of pier damage, they instead replaced the day with a scenic cruising event in the Havannah-Boulari passage.
My very first cruise was at age 11, on board P&O's Fair Princess. At that time, the South Pacific itinerary included scenic cruising through the Havannah-Boulari Passage, and to this day I can recall enjoying the passing tropical sights from the aft decks of the comparatively tiny Fair Princess. Although disappointed to miss out on Mystery Island, I was excited to experience something that had lived only in my memory for the past 20-something years. We enjoyed most of the day's sights from the Solarium, with its forward position providing a unique view. I was looking forward to the main show with Rebecca O'Connor as Tina Turner. Tonight's dress-up theme was Aussie and proud, and this costume was pretty much my favourite.
Tonight we're at the Tina Turner headliner show in the Royal Theatre, and then after that it will be dinner in the main dining room. But it's been a fantastic day, relaxing afternoon after a late night last night, and continuing on with this very fun SuperCruise.
After the show, we felt like a more casual dinner, so went to the Windjammer instead, before an evening walk on deck. That brings us to the end of part 1. Make sure you subscribe to watch part 2, where we'll explore some of Nouméa's sights and enjoy the rest of this incredible ship and continuing SuperCruise.